Welcome to Sooner Access in the Bob Stoops app. I've got one of my all-time favorites with me here today, Ryan Broyles. A Sooner from 2007 through 2011, played from 2008 through 11. And Ryan, before we get into your whole journey at OU, I want to talk about your high school career. Right?
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
Let people
you got
know,
some stats?
I got all of them.
Oh, let's go.
79 receptions, 18 TDs at Norman High School, right?
Yeah.
Everyone, that doesn't surprise anybody. 1,680 some yards. So big time, all state, of course. Now, you were a DB.
I was a DB, yeah.
Here's what people don't know. You got 157 tackles, right? How about this? 20 interceptions. How'd you like playing DB? What were you, corner, safety?
I played both ways my whole life. Yeah, but I started out at corner, so I actually led the state my sophomore year in interceptions. I had 9 my sophomore year.
Oh my gosh!
And so that kind of got me my start. So I started going to combines, Nike combines, and everyone just had me slated as a DB. And it wasn't until my senior year that they realized I could play receiver, too, because I've always played both.
How about that? What? I'm going to go back to this, but basketball also. Now I saw you some of the winter conditionings.
Yeah.
We'd have our own intramural games, and this guy could play some basketball now. You averaged 18 points a game.
Yeah.
Were you ever dunk on anyone?
I've had 3 dunks in a game, and I was actually preseason All-American going into my senior year, which I didn't play. I played both sides. I played basketball, football, and track my whole life. And that's just what I did.
Well, now I'm going to get to track.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
How did this guy, now look at this side, we're about the same. 6'10", you high jumped and got first in a big meet?
So I got first along the way 2 years in a row, and I lost to the same guy in state that jumped 7'1". He went to college.
You're not
but
going
I jumped 6'10". No, but I was thinking, this was my third sport.
6'10"?
Believe it or not. Yeah, I was up there.
How the heck did you get up there?
A lot of practice. To be honest with you, I did not like to run. So if you're a football player in the offseason, if you're not playing basketball, you go to track, or you're doing preseason or offseason workouts. I didn't want to do off-season workouts, so I went to track, but I didn't like to run, so high jump was it.
Well, you were on the 4x1 team too, right?
Yeah.
You can handle running 100.
I can run 100. Yeah. You start getting into the miles and the 200s. That's just not happening with the stride. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we're going to get into right here the 85. We're going to get into the OU season. How about right off the bat in 2008 with Sam Bradford?
Yep.
You guys just tore it up. Set a freshman record here at OU in the first game. 7 receptions, 141 yards. And then, also 6 TDs and 30 punt returns, right? Your freshman year.
It was a lot, yeah.
This is a guy that I knew punt return-wise. I could go talk to the defense like I'm not nervous at all.
That's good.
Did you ever? You never dropped one.
I've muffed a couple, and I remember won a Big 12 championship in Jerry's World, but I got back on it. No, I actually think I lost that one. I know I've had 2. It's not fun, but I was always the guy when it came to sports, like, I want everyone to see me. So I'm the only one back on punt return, so I just enjoyed that.
Well, you were as sure-handed as anyone I ever coached, believe me. Now, you end up also setting a record, trying to think here, 46 receptions, 687 yards for the season. It was a record for yards for a freshman.
Yeah, I had all the records.
OU.
Yeah, starting early. Believe it or not, my first game versus Cincinnati, the first play on the field, it was third down. I was their third receiver. We had Joaquin and we had Manning, right?
Okay,
Keep changing sometimes in there. Third down, they bring in the slot, 3 receivers. I run a flat. The first play on the field, I catch it, I go for like 40. I get tackled. I fumbled out of bounds. The second play, we're in the hurry-up offense with Kevin Wilson. We run a corner to the right side, touchdown. So the first 2 plays on the field ever for me, I had a catch and a touchdown. And that just gave me all the confidence in the world.
Oh, yeah, and it carried over. I know what my all-time favorite punt return was. Here against Oklahoma State, right?
Yeah.
Goes
That's
over your head.
definitely up there. Yeah, I've had earlier in the game, they did the same kick. The defense got off balance. I ran down the field, and I got pushed out on like the 10. And then towards the end of the game, the same kind of setup, and I got past the butter, and it worked out.
Yeah. Now, we move on to, Sam gets hurt 2009, but we work our way through the year with Landry Jones, who I feel is so underrated here.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that guy was
You see
incredible.
some of his balls, man. He got it out there, and he slung that thing around.
Sun Bowl MVP. You got 13 receptions, 156 yards, 3 TDs. How was that day for you?
It was great. It was like perfect fall weather out there,
Wasn't it?
And the ball was coming. They played a lot of, a lot of zone here and there, and they were just found the holes. And we had a whole 2-3 weeks to work on it.
Right.
It was a great time.
You know what people don't know? Because I remember this Cam Newton we had in for a visit.
Yep, I hosted
during
Cam. Yeah.
during Christmas time.
Yep.
We're preparing for the bowl game. You hosted Cam.
I did host Cam.
You took him around, and sure enough, after that game, he texts Coach Wilson, Coach Heupel, me.
He said it's not happening. They found the duo there.
Landry lit it up.
Yeah, exactly.
And he says it looks like you found your quarterback. Right? He was out.
He did his thing, man. You're right.
Another great stat for you. October 15th at Kansas, broke an NCAA record with 317 receptions. I just retweeted it a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
And I see you walking out of the end zone holding on to that ball.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
It was special. Obviously I came back my senior year for that opportunity to break records, win championships, be back with the boys and get my degree. And so, that night my number was called. And the crazy thing about that play is I broke the Big 12 touchdown reception record the same play.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we came out of the timeout, and Coach said, you need one left, and so we got the go ball, and it worked out for a touchdown.
Hey, you were 10 yards behind.
I had to go. I was like, this is the one. This is the one, yeah.
349 receptions, 4,586 yards. Can you believe that? And 45 touchdowns in your career here. All records.
Records, yeah.
Now, they'd have had a hard time beating that. Your NCAA record still doesn't stand, does it?
I think I'm fourth now.
Because how many games did you miss? You tore your ACL.
Full season in the bowl game, so 5 games.
You missed
and I was
5
averaging
games.
about 10 a game too, so yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. All right, now, what year did you go? I read about you going to Haiti on a mission trip and how it changed you.
Yeah.
Talk about what year was that?
Sooners for Haiti, we went my junior year. I think it was 2010. So it was Landry, a bunch of guys, Box. There was a lot of us that went out there that year. And then we did the year after that. And then I went one other time after I left college.
So you went
I've been
several
3 or 4 times, yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Talk to everybody how that changed you and what was like.
It was crazy, especially at that time of my life, playing ball here. I'm from Norman, and, I had the success I did on the field. And so I was just on cloud 9, everything was going well. And I remember when we sat down with Adam Barnett, he talked about, hey, we're going to go over here. These guys, they love athletes, but you guys are going to be changed. And I was like, there's no way. We're on cloud 9 here in Norman, Oklahoma. Well, anyway, when I went out there, I just saw how those guys worship God, just their friendliness, and they literally had nothing. They lived in tents. And so it just changed my perspective on how blessed we really are here.
It humbles you a little bit, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
And then you come back and you marry your high school girlfriend, Mary Beth. We want to get into what we're doing now. Talk about your family, Mary Beth, and the children you have.
Yeah, so me and Mary Beth met when I was 16 at Norman High. I was a junior. She was a freshman. And so we started dating in high school. It wasn't until my senior year I proposed to her. And then we got married shortly after that, right before I got drafted in the NFL. And we've got 2 boys now, 9 and 4. They're going to be here at some point. They're both athletes, and they're great kids. My wife's great, and so that's life here back in Norman.
Yeah, good for you. Nothing like having a great family, right?
Have them, yeah.
You're a second-round draft pick with the Lions, and you're 3 years, I believe, with them.
Yeah.
Then you asked to be like, I'm done here. You come home, and now you're real. Talk about your time with the Lions and then coming back and what you're doing now.
Well, the Lions are special. Anytime you get drafted, you've got these dreams and aspirations as a kid playing. And it wasn't until probably my freshman year when I showed up versus Cincinnati where I was like, wow, I think I have an opportunity in the NFL. And I continued to play, and I had to believe every year, am I capable? Anyway, I got drafted in the second round, and it was great. I was out there with some good coaches, quarterbacks, and Calvin Johnson, obviously. So I got to learn from those guys and really just take it all in. It was a little bit different than college ball. NFL, there's more contracts, and you're a true professional. So I actually had more time in NFL than I did in college. Well, anyway, 3 years there, had a heck of a time. So I got a lot of friendships back there in Detroit.
Yeah.
And then, I kind of segued during that time into real estate. And so
You're
this
back
day,
here
yeah,
in
back
Norman
home,
being
doing
a
all real
realtor.
estate. Yep.
Good for you.
Yep.
A funny story. How about we're practicing and we're in the indoor, practicing probably for the Sun Bowl. And I tell him, you know, you have to make so many All-America, first-team All-America teams to be a consensus All-American,
Yeah.
and get your life-size photo on our wall and right
Yep,
to
it
our
was
locker
there.
room.
Yeah, you see it
so
every
we have
day.
all the greats since my time here,
Yep.
right? Are all, you know, all the guys are on the wall, life-size.
Mark Clayton, it was all the guys.
So
yeah.
we're practicing. He's catching punts, and it's in the middle of practice. I said, "Hey Ryan, nobody knows this." I said, "They just told me you made the Walter Camp All-American list, first team All-American." And then he says, "Does that mean I'm on the wall?"
On the
I said,
wall.
"Yeah,
That's what
you're
we're
on the wall."
working for. Yeah. You walk into at the time you walk into the locker room, really before the locker room, walk into the hallway, and you've got the locker room here, and then you've got the training room here, and every day you're going to walk past this wall of great Oklahoma
Roy Williams
players.
and all
and
the-
it was you wouldn't make it up there unless you were an All-American, and
A
so
consensus
All-American. And so I just every day I was like, I've got to be on that wall. Am I close to being on that wall? And so Coach tells me that, and I was actually 2 times too. So.
Yeah, two-time
times, yeah.
consensus All-American.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
But you asked me, does that mean I get to be on the
on
wall?
there,
And I said,
yeah.
absolutely.
the kid at
You're the
heart.
best, buddy. This is truly one of my all-time bests at any position. You take a back seat to nobody, my
Well,
man.
thank
All
you for
those
that.
record you got,
They're
you kidding
there.
me?
Yeah, they're there for a long
All right,
time.
Boomer Sooner, everybody.
Well,